No, don't talk about distribution first, produce something. Otherwise, your distribution will stop because you are not generating wealth. So,
there are cooperative systems.
yeah, some of them are working, for example, our Korean, the milkman, his cooperative society work very well, but that's a different system of every individual owns his own cattle. Yeah, and they give money for buying the buffaloes, and the milk will be brought there, and they started factory, the Milma units, what you call the Amul. The Amul, they make everything, butter, cheese, milk powder, what all, they are exporting it all over the world, so that's very good. That's another form of business. Instead of each farmer selling his milk to somebody, say we will make a centralized system where you bring the milk. That way what happened, you will get maximum money. Maximum money. So they are selling it. So that's that really not necessarily the socialistic system, though it has an appearance. It's a form of capitalism. It's a form of capitalism. Yes. I don't know how Amul is making nowadays. The Korean is gone, right? Yeah, he's gone. Yeah. He started in Bombay. He first came for interview in Bombay, and a story said that there was in Bombay the milk society owned by the Britishers at that time. So the question was asked, you know what is pasteurization? So he said, well, I guess it has something to do with milk. Said, you are appointed. But the people who came before interview, I don't know what answer they gave. But that was he had that much sense at least, because this is a milk company, so they must be asking some question about milk. So it has to do something with milk, yes. But he is, the white revolution. There is a green revolution, Swaminathan. There are so many revolutions we have. Praise God, I said that for these men who have ideas, Yes. So in socialism, they also emphasize price fixation, production control, resource rationing. These are all wrong, Price fixation, production control, resource rationing. While capitalism emphasizes healthy competition of production and marketing, which will control quality and price. They will take their productions to anywhere where there is a demand. They operate on the demand and supply, that's their ratio, the demand-supply formula. There the government will be fixing all prices. Why should government fix price for rice and pulse and all? Let the people sell at whatever price they want. If people don't want it to buy, what will they do? They automatically will reduce. Government was fixing the price of petrols and all that. Now they left it to the company. So there is frequently you hear that some increase, some decrease according to the international, market. Otherwise, what government will do? Government always increasing. That was what happened with the former government. They were always increasing LPG price, this price, that price, all that. The situation in the world market never reflected here, honestly. Never. But now that's not the case. Any product, any item, when the international price goes down, here also price should go down. But when government does the fixation, it's injustice. The Kerala rubber farmers wanted government to, fix price at 150. Okay, why should? When it is sold at 110 in Malaysia, why can't the tire factories go and buy from there and sell the tires at a lesser price? We should not be looking at the interest of a segment of the people all. That's not the policy of the capitalism. So socialism always operates on this protection. Any protection you give, even you overprotect your child, that child will be less healthy mentally and physically. Let the child defend himself. Learn how to live in this world. Can the parents always go and protect the child? No. So we needed to teach our children from from beginning on. And in the home also should give better, competition for children to produce more. Produce more. Children should not be competing necessarily with each other, they should be competing against their own abilities and opportunity. That's all we have to teach. So socialism's the emphasis of price fixation, production control, resource rationing, they are not encouraging in any way. If government will say that tomorrow rice cannot be sold below 30 rupees kilo, who suffers? The people suffer. Who else? When the whole market everywhere in Bangladesh and Pakistan and Sri Lanka, rice is sold for 20, why should the people in India buy for 30 rupees? The businessmen, wholesale business people here should be able to go and buy plenty of rice for the cheaper rice and supply there. They are interested only in their profit. They get their profit, whatever it is, That they give. In price fixation, business people also have no motivation because government won't give the margin very much. They will fix only 2% profit only. Who will do a business for 2% profit? Nobody. So then what happens? Government with all its corrupt officials and bureaucracies, they will never be able to procure enough material for people and distribution, distribute them honestly and fairly. Never. Whatever the ration system or anything in India, whatever the government is doing, that system is not operating efficiently. It suffers. So, I may sound like, people think that, I'm not against socialism, but socialism has its problems. The socialist government, in socialism, government will decide how a person's money is to be spent, what to buy and what not to buy. While capitalism does not interfere in the spending or the utilization of one's resources. One could use it for any purpose, not counterproductive to the national interest. That's all. You wanted to buy a Mercedes Benz or a Rolls Royce, you got money, honestly produce money, you go buy. You only want to buy a Maruti Alto, go and buy. It's your freedom. It's your freedom. Why should government say that nobody can buy any vehicle more than 6 lakhs rupees? Why should government say? So what is the motivation of people making money? The government will say all those things that nobody can spend more than 20,000 rupees per month. Well, let somebody live for 5,000, somebody live for 20 lakhs. He has to make his money. Any nation is benefited by spending more. Any nation is benefited by spending more. The saving benefits because it gives government more money for spending, If people are spending and buying and spending, not saving in the banks, then government cannot borrow money. Government has to borrow money from other resources. However, spending is what booms the business. If nobody buys a shirt, everybody buys a shirt once a year. What will do all these, textile companies and all? The chicken business, the chicken business is booming like anything. Now, of course, bad news has come with the antibiotics and all, so people are a little more cautious. Otherwise, you see truckloads of chicken being transported everywhere. And in Tamil Nadu, you go to some places, what is the name of that place where all the chicken comes? Namakkal, Chicken there. Well, that's big business there. Any business like that. So, the spending is what bring more money and more businesses, more employment, more tax for the government also. More tax for the government. 50 years back, government did not get any tax from chicken because people were raising their own chicken at home, once in a while killing, some guest comes. So what tax government got? And government didn't get any tax on eggs also. Because everybody had 2 or 3 chicken and, that's the egg you pick up and government gets no tax. But now, how many? Truckloads of eggs and chicken coming and government is getting so many crores of rupees of taxation. In my childhood, well, how many oranges people ate every day? Apples, peaches, plums, cherries, berries, strawberries, this, that. Now stores are loaded with these things. People are buying. So the fruit market, how much tax government get? Let people eat more fruit, they are healthier, and government get more money. And more business people get more profit also. So the free enterprise is there. So government, socialistic government will always limit the freedom of the people in spending money. And now government is thinking, how much money you can spend for your marriage. At least in some states that's a talk these days, how much money. We should put a higher ceiling on the amount of money you could. Why should you put a ceiling on money? You don't need to. You don't need to. A Christian is not going to spend all money on marriage and all that because that's not his. A non-Christian, let them spend. Let a lot of people live on them. That's what he said. Let a lot of people live on them. Because more shamiana you put, more money for that line. More chairs you put, there's money on that line. So why should you say that only 10 chairs could be put for a marriage? You don't need to say that. In principle, that's what government is saying. Leave it open. Let people decide. Let people decide. Socialism emphasizes taxation. They want maximum to be taken from individuals from taxation. Not much money to be put for expansion. Capitalism always wanted to put more money in the hands of the capitalist so that he could expand his business. More employment could be generated. Expansion of business means more, generation of more job. Capitalism reduces tax so that the resources and the savings could be invested in more and more business to provide more employment and more goods and services to society. Capitalism operates upon the principle, you earn your right to consume through honest work, etc. Socialism attempts to alleviate poverty, etc. through, doling out what others have produced. That's what they show. You work hard and produce, government takes it and give it away to people who are lazy. That's what it is. What percentage of a nation's money is going for, for treating people who have diseases and accidents related to alcoholism, for example? Crores and crores of smoking related diseases, drinking related, all the accidents and all other diseases that are coming. Where does money come from? There are people who do not smoke and drink. They work hard. Their money is taken and given out to these people. I'm saying why should? Why should a hard-working farmer's money to be given away to a lazy drunkard? Because he beats his wife, he kicks his children, and therefore government has to treat them. The government should not be doing it. So capitalism, operates upon your right to earn and to spend, consume, and to expand. Socialism thrives on controls. Capitalism thrives on minimum interference and maximum liberty. The Lyaase principle, minimum government. The Lyaase principle, remember I said that the French Revolution has brought in a principle, minimum government, the maximum government. The government should be doing minimum. Just the army securing our borders, and then police to keep the bad elements out, to arrest the wrong people and all that kind of things, Let people do. We will have more gentlemen if government won't interfere. Of course there are thugs, land mafias and all that. And if government gives permission for everybody, you spend your money and all that government has to do is withdraw all the 500 rupee notes. One bright morning say 500 rupee notes are withdrawn. All these mafias will go break. What they will do, because everybody has plenty of money piled up, business people. Government from time to time should withdraw the existing currency. They should be ready with the new ones and secretly, But our bureaucracy, they are cheaters. They will leak the news out. So that's the problem. So when the individual and the society lives on their own labor and resources, they will have better say even in the running of the government. There will be a healthy relationship between the people and the government. because you producing and government is benefited by reasonable taxation and all that. What government must ensure is no unethical business is allowed. No unethical business. Business should be honest. Books must be maintained, honestly. And that sort of control should be there. Christian worldview embraces democratic free market system where peaceful exchange of goods and services take place. The Bible grants mankind the right to private property with the principle of stewardship. Every person is free to work or to do business as well as under the duty to ensure that freedom for others also. The Bible teaches that every person is duty bound and free to employ both God-given opportunities and God-given abilities in a manner most suitable for his personality and for the biblical purposes. That's what everybody. We don't expect everybody to be a businessman, no. We need other people. We need engineers, doctors, farmers. We need people to climb coconuts. We need people to cut hair. If government will control the barbers, I don't know what we'll do. Government will have one barber shop for a community, So what sort of a haircut you will get? Now you can go anywhere you want, get your haircut. I like the free society. Governments say that everything is government controlled. No. So the Bible does not teach that. The Bible teaches that taxes, customs, duties need to be paid duly to the governments. By the citizens. Romans chapter 13 and all. The laissez-faire system of government is ideal in free market society, while socialism, have greater interference on every aspect of life, eventually Marxism leading to totalitarian government. The Marxian economics, total control of man, material and mechanism, is absolutely a wrong principle. Capitalism encourages individuals to invest more, to produce more, to distribute more, so that more money, more employment, more opportunity, etc. will be created for more people. Socialism tends to move towards more and more governmental controls and less individual rights. Capitalism prevents the government from taking over unnecessary controls. The champion of communism, Frederick Engels, commented, listen, that's what he said. If some few passages of the Bible may be favorable to communism, the general spirit of the doctrine is nevertheless totally opposite to communism. Karl Marx and Frederick Engels, Collected Writings, volume number 3. Page 399, published by International Publishers. I quoted from another book. Engels. Marx and Engels, they together, formulated the principles of communism, No, what is he's talking about Bible. He said that there are a couple of passages that may sound like encouraging Marxism, but Bible as a whole encourages capitalism. So he's against Bible. He's against Bible. But he was honest to say that. The dishonest communist will come and say that the Bible and Jesus Christ, teach communism. But Angel said that's not true. That's not true. There are a couple of verses that may sound like. But the general spirit of the Bible teaching is it's against socialism and Marxism. It encourages only free private enterprises. The Christian worldview embraces democratic capitalism, the free and peaceful exchange of goods and services. For a number of reasons, it's a better system. The biblical view of private ownership of property, coupled with the individual stewardship of the proper use of the property, generates more resources for the whole community. Moreover, Christian stewardship of property presupposes Christian freedom to use property for whatever ethical purpose one is convinced to use the property. See, for example, in America, it's a free capitalist society. The people can send money to any part of the world for any purpose, as long as that purpose is not unethical. You go to any other communist country or socialist country, you cannot spend any money to anywhere. That's the control. That's the control. How many crores and crores and crores of billions of dollars are being every day, doled out to all over the world for all kinds of purposes. Social, charitable, religious, and this and that, so many kinds. That's the freedom of the free enterprises. You make the money, you decide where you want to spend. They want to send money to India for some, maybe cancer hospital, $1 billion they can send. American government won't say no. It's your money, you decide. That's their system, So capitalism outsmarts socialism in creating social justice. The equality that capitalism creates is not one where everybody lives in the same size of house, or in everybody having the same money in the bank, or everybody wearing the same kind of clothes. It is an equality where everyone is equally free to take up a job he likes, to buy a house he wants, and to put clothes he wants, to do some business he wants, to educate his children the way they want. It is the equality before law. It's equality before law. That's what the Bible also teaches. Nowhere the Bible says that every Christian in the church must have the same kind of house or same amount of property or same amount of eat the same food. No, it doesn't. But everybody's needs must be met. Nobody should be dictating to somebody else. Every believer is free to do whatever work he wants. Build whatever home he wants, to do whatever business he wants, and to give his money for whatever purpose, as long as that purpose is a biblical purpose, of course. Not for, anti-national work and terrorism and all that. So capitalism, when it operates right, guarantees all citizens the freedom to life, the freedom to property, the freedom to religion, etc. True capitalism believes in ownership, production, distribution, etc., without the government controls, unnecessary government controls. It believes in minimum governance. The Christian who accepts the Bible will also accept the divine mandate to private ownership and personal freedom to use what one owns. The Mosaic economics is the ideal economics in the world. God gave the land to people. People were to use the land on a stewardship. Maximum utilization of the land, minimum waste of resources, producing enough to share with the needy, honoring God with a fair share of the income, and supporting the widows and the orphans and the other needy ones. God said, I will bless you. That's what the Bible teaches. So it's sad to see sometimes many Christians I have seen, they have membership in some Marxist union and all that, and they believe that Marxism is a blessing of God. They almost sounds like after Jesus Christ, Karl Marx is the savior of the world. How can they think like that? You have some questions, discussions you wanted to, because, we are talking about money, and sometimes, growing up in India, we have more of a socialistic thinking than the free enterprise thinking. That's basic to our system, because we were bred, like that,
So, since the whole world is a free market, so then it keeps on growing. From where the wealth is coming?
That's a good question. Where the wealth is coming from, or where the wealth is going to? The world has resources, I don't think there is any nation who has exhausted his resources. No. Even India including. Our wealth is not even tapped. For example, take the Gulf countries. Those people were shepherding sheep. They were shepherding sheep and all that. Who found out that, they were complaining that everywhere sand and only what is this sand and sand and sand, sand, there is not a drop of water, nothing. So what, the Britishers and the Americans came and found that it's not only sand, underneath the sand there is oil, there is so much oil and petrol and all that, and so look at the nature of that one. The same thing, Palestine was, for almost 2000 years, it was only used by those people for shepherding, sheep and all. Now in 1948, a piece of that property was given into the hand of the Jew. Look what. There were how many crores and billions of dollars worth flowers they are selling. You know that? I read that. I don't remember the amount, but few years ago they have sold so much flowers. And these flowers from where? The land that was barren, they said. They will pump water from the Dead Sea and all the fertilizers they will use there. They will pump it from there and irrigate. And, it's all there, So their resources are not being used, For example, take India has the largest number of livestock in the world. The largest number of livestock. But a large number of the livestock, how much milk they give? Per capita milk production in India is the lowest. Our cow gives the minimum. As opposed to you go to cow in some other European countries, like Sweden and Switzerland and New Zealand and America and all these countries, and the cows are giving so much milk, they don't know what to do sometimes, that much. So why we have all these cows that are, not productive? People say they are holy cows, okay? Well, this sort of. How much the rats are eating. The kabutar, in Bombay, how many tons of wheat they are being fed. What's the use of these birds? Do they contribute anything to our economy? Anything to our economy? When we are living in the desert, you can see places where, tens of thousands and thousands of these birds are fed by people coming and they're throwing all these, wheat and all these, and their people are starving. So that means where it come from, it is here. I say we are sleeping our fortunes. We are sleeping our fortunes. Yes.
Capitalism, didn't they exploit workers?
That's coming back. Well, how do they? Let me ask this one.
Long hours of work.
Yes. Yeah. Would you rather, if you get an opportunity to go to America, do you go there or you go to Russia? Where there is no exploitation.
America.
Why you go to the exploiting nation?
Less exploitation.
So you haven't thought through the issue. If you get a job in the Reliance industry somewhere, will you work that one or you will work in a small shop here?
Reliance.
Why? The exploitation. So you are becoming a party to the exploitation, right?
So then what's the solution?
But there is no exploitation. There is no, because in Tata's or Birla Industries or any of these big industries, the employees are much better paid than the smaller industries, definitely. The multinational, international schools that are operating very well, their teachers are paid much better than the teachers in the small schools. But they have to be more qualified, they have to, in the input should be more. So where is the exploitation?
There are engineering institute which pays more than IITs.
Yes,
Exactly.
see that? That's the way it is. You talk about good hospitals even there are government hospitals. There are, big hospitals, there are, where will you go there? Of course they charge more money, but why do you go there? Because you are playing with your life usually in a small clinic there. You go for some problem with your left leg, they will amputate your right one. That happens many times. Yes. Definitely that's